here. I'm gonna share my screen, and this will be all shared on the Our Hometown podcast and on the YouTube channel. So you can always check back and see old episodes there. And let me know if you guys have any FAQs for the end or think about some while we're going through the newsletter today. But I think we actually already had some questions on this morning from some publishers that want to get set up with Facebook news. This is the topic this week. We had a question actually from Tompkins Weekly last week about this. We did some research, found out how to get our publishers in there, and here we are republishing it on the newsletter. So that is the beauty of being on Our Hometowns platform and being part of this neighborhood of newspapers, as Jack says. And I really like how he puts it that way, because it is a community of publishers that you're joining when you're with Our Hometown. And today we're talking about registering for Facebook news so that your articles can feed into the Facebook news channel. Basically, it's kind of like a subdivision of the news feed that's just for news on Facebook. So you're not going to be seeing your friends' posts in the Facebook news area. You would just see news articles. So it's a great place to be. Your competition might be there. And if you are not, then this article is going to walk you through how to get your page registered and publishing to Facebook. So we got a whole blog post on that. You can check it out on our blog from the newsletter. You can listen to it. We've got the audio article there. And it's just a detailed tutorial on how to basically set up your business page, your Facebook business page. You'll have to verify your domain, do some verification, and then submit the article to Facebook News, kind of like you do with Google News. It's the same idea. Any questions on that, Terry or Vera? I don't know if this is something that we've seen many questions about. I had not seen a question until I saw it from Tompkins. But this is not a new thing from Facebook, I don't believe.
I have a question if Terry doesn't have any.
Sure.
Now, from our standpoint, customer service, I know that the article said that we would help if they got stuck. What if they're not tech savvy at all? Can we walk them through the process step by step?
Well, I mean, a lot of times we can. Sometimes, there's only so much that we can do on our side, because you do have to verify the domain and verify your business. So we can, I'm sure, help them verify the domain. But if they're, having issues with their Facebook manager or their Facebook business account, we can definitely take a look. But I don't know if that, sometimes things get hung up on Facebook's end. So you may just need to contact Facebook support for certain things, but we'll certainly jump on a call to see what we can do and learn more about this, some of the common issues that people might be having. Because I'm sure that if one publisher is having an issue, then it's at least one other publisher is having that problem. So
I was just going to say, I think the important thing to note is that you do have to have a business manager account, and it's free. And then those two where it says verify your domain and verify your business, those are clickable, and I checked those out and they're very helpful.
Right. These are really, it's just Facebook Help Center. So this is, it's the authoritative source on how to fix these things. So you would want to check on verifying your domain, verifying your business, and then also going to your Facebook business page or the business manager. If you don't already have this set up, it's a really good thing to look into, because then you can do things like run ads on Facebook. That would not be possible without Business Manager. Any other questions or comments on that?
Not for me.
All right.
That's all I needed. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Okay, and going back to the newsletter, we've been recruiting for, we're trying to grow the company in many different departments. We need more people in customer support and we're kind of turning our customer support into the sales department, like an extension. So it's just one continuum of supports, so that as soon as a publisher is interested in our hometown, they're kind of working with our support team. And so for that reason, we're looking for help there. And so, if you know anyone in the newspaper business that's looking for a part-time job, we're very interested, especially in people with a background in newspapers. We'd love to talk to them. And the upcoming events section this week, one of these is outdated already because this happened at 10 a.m. this morning. We had a webinar with the Illinois Press Association, and it was went off fantastic. It was really exciting to do this webinar. It's actually the first one that I've done focused on the audio articles podcast outside of the E&P webinar, because really when we got scheduled to do that E&P webinar, we put the development into high gear, and we turned audio articles on the article player on the website. We enhanced that and created the podcast feature, the podcast feed, and the integration with Buzzsprout. And so we actually haven't had a chance to have a dedicated webinar where I'm just presenting it yet. So this was the first of its kind, but we're going to be doing at least 2 more of these in the next month. One with America's newspapers and the Illinois online media campus, I believe is the name, and then also with the National Newspaper Association. So those will be coming up in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to do a similar presentation for those. But we already had some folks reaching out to us interested in the podcast and in a prototype on WordPress. So this was an excellent webinar, and always love working with these press associations. We've got a lot of affiliations going on, even more than we did when they were doing the in-person conferences. We've really grown into the virtual conference space with these organizations as they all continue to adapt to make their conferences virtual. And so this is kind of an ongoing thing we're doing with Illinois. Then we've got office hours, where we always just review the newsletter. And I wanted to talk specifically about the Kevin Slimp webinar series. This is your last chance today. I'd say by the end of the day, definitely by 5 o'clock is the deadline to get your names in for this, because we need to get all the registration, all the people that want to participate, their names to Kevin. But this is part of an ongoing series that we're doing with Kevin Slimp, the news guru. We've already had a bunch of webinars with him, sponsored webinars, where any Our Hometown customer can attend totally free. So if you work for a newspaper that's on Our Hometown's WordPress platform, you qualify automatically. You don't need to really do anything except for fill out the registration form, and that'll just take you a couple seconds. And tomorrow's webinar is going to be on advanced Photoshop. That's the first one that we're going to be having. And these are, really actually just Kevin's webinars that he does for newspapers. And, there's usually a fee, usually around $89. And I think he sometimes gives a discount of $20. So we're talking around $69 per seat for a 100-minute webinar. It's an incredible value, even when you're paying full price for $89. But as an Our Hometown customer, you get it completely free. And that's because we're sponsoring our entire company, all the customers. And, we have a relationship with Kevin that's fantastic. And we just kind of do a bulk sponsorship so that anyone can attend. And so
I did have a question about that.
Now,
in the previous ones, they were able to register, and if they couldn't attend, there would be a link. Is that the same with these future ones?
Actually, well, that I don't think that was ever really true on a wide scale basis, because this is Kevin's bread and butter. I mean, this is like his business. So we are not providing videos. Kevin might choose to provide some videos, but we cannot do that. And we're not going to be publishing these videos after the fact, because he does these webinars regularly, and it's the same. Some of them are the same topics. So we don't want to give away any secrets that he's having there. So the answer would be no for that. So
I just figured that would be coming up, so I figured I'd ask now.
That's a good question. Yeah, you got to go to the live webinar. So just try to make the time. He does them on Fridays in the early afternoon Eastern time. So hopefully that works for everyone. We do try to do our best to produce a digest, just take notes as we're going through and then publish a blog post. But I wouldn't count on that. I would definitely try to be there. It's really better to be there because then you can ask questions in real time. And again, he's a great presenter. So just a lot of details that we're going to be getting into. This is like for, maybe apprentice level or, higher than beginner level Photoshop, either editors, photographers, or designers. But I think even if you're a beginner, it's worth coming because, again, as a customer, it costs you nothing, and it might really open up your eyes to the things that are possible, even if you don't quite remember everything, or it doesn't all quite stick the first time. Okay, and that's just tomorrow's webinar. If I go back to the announcement, we've got a whole bunch. We've actually got 7 scheduled, and we're doing one every month. Again, all free. You just got to sign up one time. If you come to the registration page, you can fill out your publication information. I'll just do this really quick and show you what this next page looks like. We have just a really quick survey here on your workflow. And it's just 3 questions. And then you can just at one time register for all the conferences. And that's what I think most people have done. So it's just very convenient that way. You can, invite all staff members, or you can select certain staff members to go to specific events. But let's just say we're doing all. Then I've selected all the webinars, and then I just put in their name and email address, and I can do multiple at a time. And then every email that I put in here will receive an invite for each of those events as they come up. And I think we've already sent out the invites for tomorrow, but if you get us your email today, then we can probably still get you in for tomorrow's session.
Matt, is there a limit to how many staff members we can invite?
No limit at all. No, absolutely. As long as they work for the paper, then they're more than welcome.
Cool.
Yep. And really, even if you're in a group and for some reason the group, not all the papers are on Our Hometown, contact us anyway. We have an agreement with Kevin where we can bring in some prospective customers, a handful. It's not totally unlimited because at that point, those are people that might pay for a seat. And, I think he doesn't want to just completely open this up for anyone. It really is an arrangement with us and a sponsorship with our customers. But, we do have a little bit of flexibility there. We have given away a few seats this session for publishers that are considering moving to Our Hometown, but haven't made the jump yet. Good question. Anything else on the webinar? Let me see here. Zoom's in my way. Okay, back to office hours. Oh, and then here's the announcement. Again, it's 11 a.m. tomorrow. We're doing Photoshop, so there's more info on that. And that's pretty much all that we've got for this week's newsletter, this morning's newsletter. I think let me stop the share for a second and see. Register now. So we had another newsletter on Tuesday. Oh yeah, I might as well talk about this. So the Tuesday newsletter was really focused on the advanced Photoshop session. So we had a plug for that as the main article. But another thing that I want people to be aware of is that there's this publisher, the Munising News. Willie Peterson is the publisher up there. And they have decided to close their newspaper. And it's not necessarily that the business is not viable or that they're losing money. It's just that they cannot actually get the staff that they need to support the paper. It's really a sad story. This is a 125-year-old paper in northern Michigan, and it is up for sale. So we wanted to let all of our customers know, if you're, maybe a publisher in Michigan or one of the nearby states, and you think it would make sense to scoop this paper up before it disappears, you can contact Willie. There's all this information on the blog. We ran an ad that he had been running with the Michigan Press Association. We reran it on the blog post. You can give him a call and see if there might be an opportunity for both of you there. But Willie's been with us for a while. He did not have a website for years, and we were the first website that he ever did. I think it was probably 7 or 8 years ago that he joined our hometown, and it's just really sad to see this happening. So we're hoping that we can find a buyer for him at the 11th hour here before he closes.
One thing you should point out there, Matt, is that Willie has always been full service, so there's no managing content on the site that's involved, because we basically do that. All he does is send us his PDFs.
Exactly. Yep. Ever since he joined, he was all about the turnkey website. So he just sends us those print PDF files, but we need someone producing the paper still, for that to all work, obviously. So yeah, exactly right. The website would continue to be turnkey for you. Okay. And I think that these are all events that we already discussed. So we covered all that. Good. Now, let's just go over to the homepage really quick here. Let's see. We've still got that free trial for the podcast out there until March 31st. We're doing a free test of the audio articles and the audio articles podcast. So you can try audio articles on your website as our hometown customer, and we can set those stories up to feed to all the major podcast apps. We can embed a playlist of your entire newspaper right on the homepage so that people can listen to the whole paper front to back. So I hope that we've gotten everyone. I think we've done a very good job promoting this. So, and we had a lot of people take us up on it. So hopefully, if you're interested, you've already heard about it by now, but if not, just come to the homepage and click on this banner to claim the free trial. Let's see, that's pretty much all I had for the newsletter. Did we have any FAQs that you guys wanted to go through this week?
One that I've had for the last 2 weeks is pending transactions. That keeps coming up like a bad penny. There is a knowledge base article on it, but I think because we keep getting it, especially with new clients, it's best to maybe refresh them.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, could I give you control of the screen? Do you have something that you can show us, like maybe log into a demo site or even a current customer site with a pending transaction, and show us how to fix that?
Here's one. Let me go down further that had called in about pending transactions. Let me see. Okay, and of course failed. We know what those are, but basically, if you think about it in terms of going grocery shopping, you're not just going to leave your cart in the middle of the aisle, but some people do. And what it is basically they'll see the payment gateway and think, oh, well, I don't have an account there, and they exit out. Or they think that they have completed the transaction and wonder why they can't log on. So basically pending means that the transaction hasn't been completed. I thought I had a good one here, but I guess not.
Oh, that's okay.
But I mean, here's the transaction number. This is, the outcome, whether it was completed, whether it was failed, or sometimes that's where you would see the pending, and that's all that it meant.
Well, can we filter by the transaction status? Maybe that would be a good way to find status. Would it be statuses? Yes. Okay. So if you're wondering if there's any outstanding pending, then you would want to use that. And look at this. Here we go. Here's all these ones from fairly recently, actually.
And I like to point that out, that that's money sitting on the table that you don't know about. When I used to work for a paper, once a week, I would go through and see if there was anything, because people honestly think that they have completed. So rather than get a phone call, why am I not able to log in? This is why. So I would call and say, hey, did you realize that you didn't finish your transaction? Let me finish processing that for you, so forth and so on. But that's extra revenue that you didn't even count on.
Right. Absolutely. So what has happened here is just so that to resolve it, what is the steps they need to do to resolve these things when they see them?
Well, I mean, personally, I just know how I would do it. I basically, you have their username, you would go into their profile, get their phone number or email address, and contact them that way, and then just have them do it. You could walk them through it, do the process online, or if you have a POS in-house, you could process it and export the information into MemberPress.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And I guess that's a detail I want to drill down to, because it says that the gateway was a credit card via Stripe, but in these cases, the money has not actually been collected, I don't think. Correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So and since we're using MemberPress and we don't store credit card information on the website at all, then it's not going to be anywhere. So I think the only way would be to go in and get the phone number, like you said, get an email and do that follow up with them. So, I mean, these are all pending. I feel like it might be a good idea to let the recorder online know about these, because these are pretty recent things, and just give them a heads up that these were never completed, and maybe just exactly like you said, this is our tip, follow up with the user. So these all have users. So let's just walk through that really quick. To follow up with this person, we would click on the username, right?
Exactly. And then you would just scroll down. Now here is their email address. So if you're more comfortable emailing, and then here is their phone number here.
Great.
And you would just call them and say, hey, did you realize that you didn't complete your transaction? Hey, and then just go from there. And then they could you could walk them through the process by doing a dummy account, like going here and then going to subscriptions and walking through that way.
Right. Now that one, it actually said on there that was supposed to be a renewal. So I assume that the recorder online has auto renewal set up, and maybe what happened. Okay. So do you think maybe what happened is that the credit card expired? Like, cause we have their credit card, in Stripe. It's saved in Stripe, not on the website, but that's how we do auto renewals. Stripe keeps track of that stuff. So maybe if a credit card expires between renewals, then it would appear as pending. Is that possible?
That is possible. Or they thought that they were finished and they actually weren't. But a lot of times, like if you log into the account, and you would be able to renew it that way.
Right. I see. So you're logged in as Carol. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, see, here's the renewal. She would just have to go back through and hit the renew. If you go to payments,
interesting.
This right here, it would show that she tried, but that's the expiration. That's the last, that she would have.
Right. So these are, it looks like a year. Okay. It auto renews every year here, but there was an invoice status complete. Yeah, I guess I'm just on this particular one. It looks like it's complete now. I'm just not quite sure. If you go back to subscriptions, though, it does say there
to renew. Yeah, so maybe it was renewed. An old credit card. Maybe that's what it was, and it tried processing the old one, and that's probably why it has the pending in the transaction.
Right.
Because it couldn't complete it.
Right. All right. So yeah, that could be the case. So if you see renewal on there, then they might be expecting this to just keep working for them, and then one day they'll try to log in and it doesn't work. So yeah, we want to avoid that because that's not a great user experience. But all right, good FAQ. Appreciate that, Vera. And then I think Terry just posted in the chat, and this is a good reference blog post from back in June. Right. So if you, I guess, did you just search pending on our blog or something to find that?
Yeah, I just put search or pending in the search bar.
Okay, great. So that's another quick way to get to this stuff.
Yep.
But that'll just go over everything that Vera just reviewed in text format. So you got abandoned registrations, you got denied print upgrade requests, payment gateway configuration issues. These could all lead to a pending transaction. So that's good. All right. So what did you have? Is it a new? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to add that this is a really good article for those frequently asked questions that publishers get.
Right. Yeah, which we got to put together a newsletter at some point to help publishers create these FAQs on their website. So, it's nice to be able to find them on our site when customers are complaining to them.
Right.
They can go find the answer on our hometown, but it'd be nice if the customer could just find it right on their site. But anyway, we can follow up on that later.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a lot of other things